Can anyone slow down the red-hot Owls offense? The eyes of League One will look to see if the Greenville Triumph have the solution to that tonight. Welcome one and all to the first matchup at Warner Park between Union Omaha and Greenville Triumph. Welcome everyone to this broadcast. My name is Mark Schoenster. Excited to bring you the action of number 1 against number 3 in the table at this moment. Let's contextualize that a little bit more by looking at the standings to see what is at stake. First off, the first clinching scenario, Union Omaha with the victory tonight could punch their ticket to the League One playoffs. Meanwhile, Greenville maybe looking to compete with Chattanooga, who've been wavering recently. They did get a win earlier today, but they have not looked as stout as they have in the past. So another bye is still an option for teams throughout the league. But like I mentioned just a moment ago, red-hot offense from Union Omaha. 5 of their last 6 games, they've scored 2+ goals. These last 2 games in particular, they've dropped 4 apiece. They have just been red hot ever since Evan Conway has gotten back into form. Things have opened up for Devin Boyce. Greg Hurst was able to get back on the score sheet on Wednesday. This is a team that for throughout the year have been known to be stout on defense, and now things are clicking at the top of the 18 for them. Really looking good. As you can see here, as we talk about the Greenville side of things, today, it may be less about the finishing, which we're going to see some goals here, but I would like to point your attention to Gavilanes here on this pass and the facilitating that's going to need to be done. Little pockets of space at Warner Park. It's a narrow pitch. Things like this cross from Jesus Ibarra are going to be what they look for. That's a lot to ask. That's an incredible cross from Ibarra, but that's the kind of talent, the kind of plays that those guys out on the wings are going to need to make if Greenville are going to score and respond to this Union Omaha attack. A lot on the table tonight, a playoff berth, a lot more. Is there a formula to slow down Union Omaha? Let's find out after this break. Kickoff, lineups, and much more on ESPN+.
I'm actually the first person in my whole entire family, teenagers, adults, kids, grandparents, that's gotten my bachelor's degree. It was 16 hours to Missouri, and then we picked up my dad and my brother, and then it was another 5 hours here. I didn't get a walk for high school. Everyone else gets that opportunity, so when it came to this, I was like, I don't care how far it is away.
We would like to thank these awesome restaurants in the Omaha Metro for providing team meals to our players during the 2021 season. Chick-fil-A Bellevue, Vitality Bowls, Papayo Pit Barbecue, The Corner Kick, Epoca Cantina, and Beacon Hills. We appreciate your support and team meals during our 2021 season. Tonight, we'd like to thank and welcome our Centris Federal Credit Union Ball Kids. If you want to be a Centris Ball Kid at the next Union Omaha match, visit unionomaha.com/community to sign up. Thank you to Nebraska State Soccer for helping us select the Centris Ball Kids. And we're back in Papillion, Nebraska. Union Omaha and Greenville Triumph facing off for just the 3rd time in League One history. It was last time earlier this year in May 16th to be exact, that these two teams met at Legacy Early College. It's the only place these two teams have met so far in the series history. And it was an exciting match. A lot of hype going into that game. First ESPN2 broadcast in League One history, and it started with Marius Lomas slotting in a goal as often as he did early in the season when he was on a tear and took the reins on the Golden Boot race. Then the second half came around, and it's his only goal of the season, but Nicholas Firmino made it count here. National television audience just whacks it into the bottom left corner. Wonderful job from him. 1-1 draw between the two of them. Omaha unbeaten in the series, 1-0-1. You can see the final whistle there as we take a look at our lineups. Two faces that maybe you're unfamiliar with at the top of the formation. The aforementioned Nicholas Firmino, and then Austin Pancho taking the place of Greg Hurst, as well as Evan Conway at the top of the formation. They both started on Wednesday, so maybe getting some rest. I would anticipate seeing them in the second half of things when things get a little bit more intense. Meanwhile, on the other side of things, it's Paul Christensen in goal once again. Dallas J still gone. And Mario Slomis at the top of the formation. Gavilanes and Ibarra, critical pieces today. They're going to need to make plays in one-on-one situations to make this match count. Talked about them earlier, and those two, without the amount of space they're used to having, are going to be in a much more pressured situation one-on-one with guys like Villader and Ferretti Sosa, who will be on them like glue. There's nowhere you can run from them. You're just going to have to make one-on-one plays and get past them, slip behind them, and feed Mario Slomis and create the opportunities you need to create in a very tough environment in Werner Park. As our center official today, Greg Dopka. He'll be the one to coordinate things throughout this matchup. So it'll be Greenville to kick things off, going right to left. Meanwhile, Omaha in their classic black kits against Greenville's white, going left to right. It's the only match tonight in League One soccer, so pay attention and see if this Greenville Triumph team has what it takes to put a cap on this Omaha goal-scoring tear that they have found themselves on recently. 5 of the last 6 games, Omaha have scored 2+ goals, with the exception of a 1-0 loss at Morrison Stadium against Tucson. See if they can kick things off early here. Toby Otieno playing out wide to Boyce. This ball comes off Polak. That shot just wide. Welcome to Werner Park. Toby Otieno gets the first shot of the day. Greenville looking for that first win in this series. Of course, the perennial powerhouses of League One. Could argue maybe that they're the standard of the league, having made the finals in 2019. Then won the title last year in 2020 and are back in contention this season. Have just always been a solid team, or more than solid. Of course, this is the matchup that was meant to be the League One final last year. Unfortunately, circumstances kept that from happening, which meant the top of the table were the winners in Greenville. I think there's a little bit of a chip on Omaha's shoulder every time they have the chance to play Greenville, because they believe they deserved the chance to get a go at the Triumph and take away that title in the last game of the season. You're going to see the highlights at halftime. A 4-1 win on Wednesday for Union Omaha here at Werner Park. Tight schedule for them here to close the season in this October stretch. They went down a goal to start things off, and Jay Mims said that it was almost a blessing in disguise. We didn't look sharp in the beginning of that game. He said they got one on us, and it dawned on our team that this one wasn't going to be easy. Boyce tries to flick that to Firmino, and it only falls into the arms of Paul Christensen. Jay Mims said that we knew we had to respond, and then we looked good. He said Wednesday was a sign of a mature team coming off of a big win last Saturday when they won 4-0 away from home against Tormenta. Some teams might feel comfortable after winning a 4-0 game, but they knew they still needed to come out and show up, and they were able to respond in the first way that they have all season. Haven't ever won a game after conceding the first goal up until Wednesday. An Omaha team that the rest of the league would hate to see getting better and better as the year goes on. Nicholas Firmino gets that ball tapped away by Brandon Fricke. Well, the story every time a team plays here at Werner Park is always adjusting to the metrics of the pitch. A narrower field condenses things, and everything's congested. Can't quite space things out like you would want to, and Greenville is one of those teams that loves to maximize spacing out players and switching the pitch. So maybe one of the teams that suffers from this more than any other team in the league, but it hasn't stopped John Harkes from being confident that his team can adjust. He said it would have been a disservice to his team this week if they didn't, in practice, mark up smaller pitches to get used to everything. This one will get tapped out by Fricke Sosa. Let's take a look at the keys to the match here. For Greenville, it's going to be winning your moments. I talked about Ibarra and Gavilanes. You're going to have times where in order to find space or create space, you're going to have to beat the man in front of you. So you got to win those moments. Meanwhile, for Omaha, went with more of a philosophical route with street smarts. This is a team that's on a busy schedule, but they're also a team that's in good form, going up against a smart Greenville side that could expose them should they get lackadaisical. And Jay Mims talked about how they needed to focus on nutrition, they need to focus on legs, on reps, and you could see it already in the lineup with Pancho and Firmino at the top of the formation as opposed to Conway and Hurst. They're going to be clever. They're not going to overwork anybody, but they're also not going to overlook Greenville. So it's less about a tactical thing and more about keeping your mind in the right place, being smart, making sure you don't let the little things get away from you when everything is so busy. It'd be easy to cut corners. I don't think that's something you could do against a Triumph team that's so solid and wise on the ball. Talking about that preparation, John Hark said that they marked up the pitch to be smaller this week at practice to get used to things. And he said it got a little hectic, as one would expect when you're used to playing on a bigger pitch. And he said that the smaller places, or smaller spaces, but they're still spaces to play in. Still pockets where you can find gaps. And he mentioned that for one-on-one situations, we've got guys who can handle that. And he said that we talk all the time about the disadvantage of playing on a narrow field, but Omaha also has to play on the same field as we do. Granted, Omaha much more accustomed to it, given that it's their home pitch. Free kick for the home side. There's Devin Boyce. Much like the other strikers, he's been opening up recently. That one, not much promise on it from Nicholas Firmino. And so Paul Christensen, the guy who's had to come in during Dallas Jay's absence, has done well for himself.
Hey, so just watch it. There's a huge disconnect. Yeah. Midfield and back four.
Christensen from Woodinville, Washington. This is his 7th start of the season. He saved 75% of his shots. He's got 3 clean sheets, so it's not like there's been too much of a drop-off between him and Dallas Jay. He has done his part. It teases a little bit when we look at all those goals that Omaha have scored recently. But one might draw some dots and connect between Evan Conway's return to form and Union Omaha scoring a bunch of goals recently. They get this ball from Hemmings, swinging this one inside, nothing to it. Ibarra tried to be cheeky with it. And when I made the correlation to Jay Mims and asked him what he thought, he said that having Evan back and in good form takes pressure off the other forwards. And with the 4 scoring goals, it takes pressure off the whole team. Everyone loves when the forwards score. He mentioned on Wednesday when Kurse got a goal, Rashid Nuhu, who had the night off, stood up from the bench and said, "Let's go, forwards." When those guys are doing their job, when they're scoring, things are a lot easier. He said when they aren't scoring, everyone feels the pressure to find goals, and that could build over time if the forwards are struggling. He said if the forwards are scoring goals, everyone can focus on who they are because they don't have to worry about notching in points because the guys up top are doing their part. I think, in my personal opinion, that starts with Evan Conway coming back. Hat trick on Saturday. scored another goal on Wednesday. I would anticipate seeing him here in the second half of action. A little bit of an errant pass there from Aaron Walker. By JP Skiers back to Nuhu. Since 1947, Select has been the leader in soccer ball quality and innovation. Select is the official ball supplier of USL League One and many of the elite leagues throughout Europe. For the latest Select products and special offers, please visit www.selectsportamerica.com. Get another whistle from our head official, Greg Dopka. Last time Omaha played was on Wednesday, win against Fort Lauderdale. Last time Greenville played was a win against Fort Lauderdale as well. Last Saturday, or Friday actually, correction. A added time own goal for Fort Lauderdale from Ame Mabika. Heartbreaker for the visitors, but a breath of relief for the Triumph to get 3 points at home at Legacy Early College. According to John Harkes, it was due time for Fort Lauderdale for that to happen. He said, we applied pressure and created chances all night. He said, we could have scored 3 times in the first 20 minutes. Wanted to highlight that. Had some of the most creative dribbles from Ibarra, and that him and Gavilanes were great at slipping behind and creating chances, which is something they need to do today as well. And he mentioned that those two in particular are applying what we see in practice and putting it into the game. That's always a joy to see as a coach, I would imagine. As the quote goes, I love it when a plan comes together. Quick distribution from John Harkes to Gavilanes, but press whistle makes it come back a little bit. That's a nice little ball to Booth. He heads it back to Lomas. Lomas plays it out wide, but it can't reach Ibarra. That was a bit of creative work from Greenville. Cross flies in, headed away by Osamanu. A cross in for Lomas. You don't want that to happen if you're the Owls. Here's a ball. Booth tries to head inside. Lomas! And Greenville take the lead early. And Lomas, with a head full of energy, breaks his little goal-scoring spell. Gets his 13th of the season. The lucky Un-13 that's eluded him for so long. He's got it in his bag now, and the reigning champs are up. Greenville sending a message here early against Omaha. And it's Jesus Ibarra. Look at that, the cross. And then Booth's header coming off the back of Knudsen. And Lomas finally able to pick that one out. And just like that, the visitors are up. Now it's the second straight game that Omaha find themselves down early. Are they able to muster a response once again? It's going to be a lot more difficult this time. Greenville, much more sturdy on the defensive side of things. They could set up a block. We all know Omaha's a team that loves to score on the counterattack. Now there won't be that much urgency from the Triumph to find a goal and open things up. They've got the lead. And that's just what you're looking for, Marius Lomas. It's only the second goal all season that Omaha has conceded in the first 15 minutes. So a rare sight here at Warner Park tonight. We keep talking about how much this Greenville team, or sorry, this Omaha team is hot right now, but Greenville, 5 matches undefeated. They've been in a good spat of form. And ever since they actually got their championship rings, the magic has turned around. I call that superstitious. There are much more physical things to look at when it comes to how the fortunes have changed for the Triumph. But it doesn't help to always throw in some fun little storylines as well. See there, the record until Wednesday, Omaha had not won a single game conceding first. But they were able to change that narrative on Wednesday. And then 8-1-3 for Greenville when scoring first. Only 1 loss, so just 1 apiece for the opposite scenario. This ball swinging, headed upward. Some footwork from John Hart. And I got a second ball on the pitch. And I'm sure he'll be pleased with how things have started here. Parks in Greenville looking for win number 10 on the season. Here's Gabelanez. Let the ball get away from him for just a moment. And again on this pitch, that's all the time that is needed for things to get hairy. Now we're gonna get a free kick for Greenville. Well, things not kicking off the way that Omaha would like. Jay Mims talked about Greenville, and he said that we can't start off like we did on Wednesday, and unfortunately, that's the situation they're in. He said Greenville's too organized and strong defensively. They won't budge. We have to be smart about how we approach the game. He said we have to take advantage of the field and enjoy the fact that they're at home. They've been on the road a lot this season, and now they get to reap the rewards of that, watching everybody else travel, and they get to sit tight here at Warner Park. They're going to need a must response for a second game in a row. Swinging ball from Hemmings. Right now, Greenville shoving Omaha into the back. That one punched away by Nuhu. It spilled out. Still a little bit of danger there. Not sure if that one crossed, and it did. It will be a corner kick. A little bit nervy here on the back 18 for the Owls. Some miscommunication between Nuhu and his back line. A rare sight this season. And maybe also some poor luck at that point. The pressure is being applied. Oh, some of those neon suits those fans are wearing, they stick out for certain. Make me think they're gonna park cars here. That one just goes straight off the ground of Knutson. Oh, another Greenville throw. All Triumph. Don't get behind. Don't get behind. J. Mims stressed that. And now he's going to have to see some resilience from the Owls. Meanwhile, Greenville, they are confident coming into this game. John Hark said that they're very aware of Omaha's strengths and weaknesses. He mentioned that Hurst and Conway are a great duo, a duo that they haven't had to deal with yet today. He mentioned they're on a goal tear and a good run of form, but so are we, 5 undefeated. And he said we wanted to turn it on against them. And that's one thing about this matchup. Obviously, you've got the anticipation of 1 versus 3. Add the narrative of this was the championship game to be last year. But on top of that, these are just two teams that are itching to play each other. Both Greenville and Omaha wanted to get a taste of the other. Omaha still got a little bit of that bitterness from 2020. Meanwhile, Greenville, they know the challenge at the top of the table. They're thinking the 2 seed. 1 seed maybe a little out of reach, even though they got the lead against Omaha today. Just mathematically, not a lot of games left, and the Owls have had quite the season and quite the goal differential at that. Scoring 4 goals always helps in that department. Here's Gabelanez. See, he had to just whiz by Andrew Booth. Tight traffic. This one made it to the top of the 18, but just slipped by. Here's a shot from Walker, deflected out. Another corner for Greenville. It's been talked about in the past how they throw the kitchen sink at you for the first 20 or so minutes, the Triumph. Give you everything they've got. And it's been all that and more here to start things. I've just pushed the #1 team in the table into a corner. And Abdi Muhammad will take this kick. Already sitting on a 1-goal lead, courtesy of Marius Lomas. That one bounced inside the 6, and then it'll go out for a goal kick. Jesus Ibarra. His 18th appearance of the year, 7th start, coming from San Diego. Previously played for the Charleston Battery, so familiar to the USL. You see Jay Mims there. I asked him about the clinching scenario. A win, you get into the playoffs for certain. And he said that I haven't talked much about it. We've only been talking about Greenville. We're eager to take them on. We felt we deserved the match with them last season, so we're hungry. So no playoff talk from Jay Mims, which it's always a curious thing to hear about from the coaches around across the league, especially this season. I'm sure it's so hard to not take a peek at the table and see how things are going, how other teams are playing, how the results look. And I've even been hearing from some of these other games that coaches are starting to talk about with their players. Some players are coming in and talking about what happened yesterday. I'm sure in many cases, though, those teams are ones that are seeing themselves fly up and down the standings in that crazy mid-table. Something that Greenville's been a part of at times this season. They found their way up near the top once again. And Omaha have been up and clear out of that discussion for most of the year. It's more just been them and Chattanooga trading spots. And Nicholas Firmino, slow to get up. If these results stand as of right now, Greenville will become within 5 points of Chattanooga. There's only 3 games left, so that's a tall order to get past the Red Wolves, but Chattanooga have lost a couple games. They struggle with North Carolina FC, and they're a team that can put up some fight, but they are at the top, or the bottom of the table. So still not the most promising side from the Red Wolves. A win today, though, even if it doesn't result in a bye for Greenville, it's still quite the statement going into the playoffs that this isn't just going to be proceedings to award the Owls with the trophy come playoff time. There are teams that could come into Werner and knock off a win. Only one home loss this season for Omaha. I put an asterisk on it because it wasn't here at Werner Park. So Greenville looking to be the first to do it this season. This is a good free kick spot for Boyce and Villader. It'll be Devin Boyce. High hanging ball. And that one will go nowhere. Otieno will send that one into the atmosphere. Goal kick for Greenville. Well, it's tough to play at these baseball converted soccer pitches, but if there's anybody familiar with finding a way to do it, it is the Greenville Triumph. In 2019, Lansing Ignite were a team that played on a baseball field, converted into a soccer pitch. And come playoff time, it seemed like it would be very tough to get a win in Lansing, but Greenville were able to do it. Found a win, went to the final. Here they are again, doing what many might seem to be near impossible. And that breaks things open in discussions for the League One playoffs, because up until this point, it's just been an impeccable fortress for Union Omaha. I'm getting ahead of myself. There's still 70 minutes left in this one. But you can see it start to crack. Fort Lauderdale scoring on Wednesday. Greenville taking the lead here today. A trip to Werner may not be a death sentence anymore. That one knocked out. It'll be an Omaha throw. Here's Evan Lee. Getting forward a little bit, the center back. So these two teams met. We saw the highlights May 16th, broadcast on ESPN2. Momentous occasion for League One, and of course for these two clubs in general. Talked to John Harkes about it, and he said that last time we were out here, we took Conway and Hurst out of the game. And I know that's a hard ask as of right now. He said that we dominated lots of that match, and we've got lots of confidence now, but we understand that we're underdogs going into Werner, plus we've got a lot of respect for their side. That being said, our mentality is in a fantastic place right now, and it's shown here. I don't think plucky underdogs is the right word to describe how Greenville are behaving. We get a goal kick. Mentioned the baseball turned soccer field. There's a player here familiar with playing on the baseball field, soccer field hybrid. That's not with Union Omaha. It's Brandon Fricke.
Honestly, it's a bit of a cage match. Turns into that. There's a lot of tackling. There's not a lot of space to play, so it's very tight. So we're going to have to really be sharp, very clean with our decisions, our passes, and really match their level of intensity. We know that they're going to bring it. It's going to be a top tier matchup. So going into that game, we just have to really have the energy to match them and the intensity, because it's going to be a lot of that on the pitch. Good to go.
Brandon Fricke, formerly with Lansing Ignite. Great to hear his perspective on things. The big, bad, scary baseball soccer field. Maybe not too wide-eyed for this Greenville side, especially for a guy like Fricke, who is incredibly accustomed to it and knows the kind of caginess and intensity that comes with just being in closer proximity with each other. You can see him there. It's been fantastic this season. His 24th start. Was the 2020 Defender of the Year in League One, so guy with a lot of accolades, a lot of experience, and knows what these kinds of games bring. Andrew Booth getting escorted out by Connor Doyle. Up to this point, hapless from the Owls. I don't think it matters that you don't have your dynamic duo in Conway and Hurst up top. It hasn't really been a game where Firmino or Pancho have been even called upon. So far, it's just been a Greenville affair. Here are the drums going. It's a nice 71 degrees in Papillion. Wonderful weather for some football. And now we're going to get a corner kick for Union Omaha. Maybe a chance for them to set up top. Even though it's not their strong suit to break down a block, it's what they're going to have to do today with Greenville. They're not going to be careless with the ball and give those forward space. Adair's ball. I'll give it to Boyce. Getting out of the training ground here. It was read nicely by Greenville. Nothing comes of that corner kick.
feet. Tyler.
There's Ibarra. He's able to get the ball away from Boyce. Look to see if he can win himself a goal kick. He doesn't. And that one will get spun out of play for a deep throw. Devin Boyce hesitant to throw this one in.
They want to go win the ball right away.
It's a tight angle to cross that.
Hey,
No foul call. That one swing inside it. Then a collision inside the 18.
Hey, Tim, that's a fucking reckless challenge.
And it's going to be a free kick for Greenville.
Fucking get near the ball.
JP Skierce the one take it to the ground. That looked like a crunching collision between Skierce and what looked like to be Abdi Mohammed. Let's take a look at that one again. He just clips the back of Abdi Mohammed.
That's a fucking red card. 2 yards, he's not offside. That's a penalty. It's a fucking red card.
And that's the right call from our official there. Just crumpled on top of Abdi Mohammed. And then we're going to get a foul on the other side of things. Some tension starting to boil up here 30 minutes in. Greg Dopka will have to make sure things cool down. A testy moment there in the attacking 18 for Union Omaha. Hemmings puts that ball inside. The diving header spills, and it's going to go put over the crossbar. A missed moment for Evan Lee, looking for his first goal of the season. It fell on his lap. He couldn't do anything with it. Evan Lee from Toledo, Ohio. A fortunate bounce comes his way. Once again, a deflection off was Dalton Knutson once again. It would have been deja vu on a second goal there for Greenville, but not to be had this time, Evan Lee. Not quite Marius Lomas. We're going to get another foul, this time drawn by Evan Lee. With sights set on home field advantage, El Paso Locomotive welcomes an OKC Energy side looking to remain above the playoff line. It's El Paso and OKC Sunday, October 24th at 8 p.m. Eastern on ESPN Deportes. So after 30 minutes, if you're just joining us, an early goal for the visitors, Greenville, put Omaha behind for the second game in a row. Marius Lomas in the 12th minute finally breaks his dry spell. 13th goal of the season. He's got some catching up to do with Emiliano Terzaghi, who passed him and is just on a hot streak himself. 15 goals for him. And that'll be a foul drawn by Toby Otieno, called on Aaron Walker.
Hey, dude! Fucking pay attention!
A little bit of a slip there from Devin Boyce. Greenville set up in their block right now. Omaha gonna have a tough time picking this one apart. It's a good little ball to Sosa. Can he keep it in play? He does so. High flying ball, and it's corralled in by Christensen. You've got a three-player crunch right there. And we got a player hit upside the head. Christensen quick to gesture to the officials that I think Nicholas Firmino had been hit upside the head, and maybe it was Mohammed and Firmino both knocking foreheads, but Firmino's the one who seems to have gotten the worst of it. It's a great ball by Sosa. You can see there. Excellent awareness from Christensen, the keeper. Quick to get players to and trainers to come over and help Nicholas Firmino. Firmino, his only goal this season. An absolute laser against the Greenville Triumph back in May. Let's see how the Brazilian forward / midfielder. See how he does here. Getting a little pat from the keeper. Looks like he'll be able to walk off the pitch on his own feet. We'll see if he gets waved back in. Obviously, you have the liberty of Greg Hurst and Evan Conway on the sideline, but you may be planning to hold them in your pocket till after the first 45. Look for everything to settle down here. It'll be a drop ball to Paul Christensen. Christensen, of course, the backup keeper to Jalis J. She knew who didn't play last Wednesday, and instead it was Kevin Piedra. Got his third appearance and start of the season. Jay Mims said that Kevin was a great professional, and he mentioned that he came up to him after the game and apologized for having a poor performance. He felt he didn't play well, but Mims told him that he had the most important statistic that a keeper needs to have, and that was a win, a victory. He mentioned he doesn't care if we win 1-0 or 6-5. You just got to win. Here's a little bit of a breakaway for Omaha. Freddie Sosa has to step 2 into this one. Sosa into the 18. Pollock is on him like glue. Tries to square it inside, looking for Pancho. Can't find him. Those breakaway moments are going to be few and far between tonight. Fans on both sides will be holding their breath when it happens. Now we're going to get a free kick for Omaha. And it won't wait to get set up. Here's Viadair. He sends this one inside, no one there for it. Track this one down. Adair's got some range. Maybe they'll need something from him tonight from outside the 18. And that's been a way that they've been able to score goals. And it's not a bunch of players sprinting down the pitch at full speed. Here's Sosa. Sosa has some space. He'll take the shot himself, and no harm there for Paul Christensen. Be applicable to both sides. Jay Mims said that goalkeeping's hard, especially without the reps. He said it's important for us and for not for Rashid Nuhu, for Kevin Piedra to get in a game. I think the same could be said for Paul Christensen. He's got a couple more appearances than Piedra this season. He's had to step away a couple of times since Dallas J is off on international duties. But the point still stands. You need to have a next keeper up. You never know, soccer happens. Bad spot of form, injuries. At this point in the season, you can't be hindered by a player being hurt.
Keep up. Hey, get back in your box, son. Get back in there, guys. Challenge play.
This is the situation that Greenville wanted to be in. Get ahead early and then buckle down defensively. Make it hard for Union Omaha to get what they want. Sosa couldn't invent a corner kick there. Pollock been busy and effective so far tonight. They've been leaning on Ferretti Sosa to try and make something happen, and it hasn't been there. This is a Greenville team that are playing with a lot of confidence right now. It mirrors the confidence that John Harkes was oozing in our call this week. We got the chance to catch up with them and build up to this matchup. What a different team this looks like than when they were on that bad losing streak just a month or two ago. But in losses, you can really learn and grow, and that spell was no different for the Greenville Triumph. John Harkes said that you solve problems through losing. More communication is had after a big loss. You're gonna have the same flaws after a win, but when you win, you're a little bit more content with it. But a loss, things get fixed, things get talked about. Nothing there, just Paul Christensen scooping up that shot, or that cross, to be more precise. He mentioned, John Harkes, that those learning moments are part of the process and that we never lost sight of that. We kept believing even when things were bad, and now our mindset is brilliant. That's something he couldn't speak enough about, is just how everyone was so keyed in and in the right space mentally. Pancho couldn't make something happen here. Big role for him today. Just over 260 minutes played this season, Austin Pancho, the St. Louis, Missouri striker. That's a set piece chance on this end of things for Greenville. Sosa will let Gavilanes get back up on his feet. Captain getting a warning from Greg Dopka. Greenville looked good on some of these set pieces today. Already sitting on a 1-0 lead. Marius Lomas with his goal. Won't get the assist for it, but Andrew Booth with the header that went off of Knutson fell to the feet of Marius Lomas. There's Hemming's ball. It will not reach Lomas, but it can be put back into play by Pollock. Here's Ibarra. He plays it out wide to Hemmings. Hemmings on Knutson. And we got a foul off the ball inside the 18. I saw JP Skierce go to the ground. Be a free kick for Rashid Nuhu. Opportunity missed for Greenville, but they're going to be much more forgiving about it than the home side. As we reach halftime. A lot of excitement here in week 27. I'll give you the highlights of everything that's happened so far this week, including a match from 3 o'clock today. Get you caught up on all things League One. Gotta keep your eyes on every single game. They all matter. Connor Doyle sends this one inside. And I'll just be cleared away. Fricke, Lee, Pollock, and Muhammad all doing their parts. And that expands out to Hemmings, Aaron Walker, Andrew Booth. Just a team effort from Greenville. And that's just a heavy touch from Pancho, giving that possession away. Talking will need to be had for J. Mims and his crew at halftime. On Wednesday, he mentioned that after seeing how they responded after that Fort Lauderdale goal, he didn't really need to tell them anything. Didn't really need a pep talk of any sorts. They just made some tactical adjustments I don't think that's going to be the case this time around. Some wise words from Jay Mims are going to be needed in the locker room. Greenville have looked the better team, and the scoreline indicates it. A little bit of nastiness. Some great play for Greenville. And scarce a half chance for Union Omaha in this matchup thus far. So both the pep talk and the tactical adjustments will be needed from Mims after this first 45. That one nearly given away to Andrew Booth. And although, though, that kind of play won't win the ball back for Greenville, that's the kind of touch that just gets in the head of a team when your passes just aren't connecting smoothly. And smooth is a word that has not been found by the Owls today thus far. As we reach the 45-minute mark. Here's a ball inside and will fall to the knees of Paul Christensen. There are still some weapons in the pocket of Jay Mims. As mentioned previously, Greg Hurst, Evan Conway on the bench. Could shake some things up in the second half. Maybe give a much needed morale boost that this team's gonna need. Tracking back with lots of pace, Evan Boyce. It was good on his part. More minute to go, give or take. Here's Viadair. This one played out to Firmino, and he can't keep this one in. And there's some frustration from the striker on that part. Viadair been relatively quiet today. Every single coach pays their respect to him when Omaha's their upcoming fixture. They know just how talented a player Damien Viadair is, both defensively and on the attack. And I know special precautions have been taken by John Harkes to make sure that he doesn't take control of this game. There's going to be some dismay from the call from the Union Omaha faithful and the players on the pitch. And after correcting himself, Greg Dopka will give the ball to Omaha. Quickly adjusted his call after he took a moment to think about it and assess things. We're past that 2-minute mark. Let's see if Dopka even lets this one go into play. Maybe one last chance before the halftime whistle. Connor Doyle with the shot, and it just goes wide. Not a bad little take from Connor Doyle there, and there's your whistle after 45 minutes. Well, the firepower of this Union Omaha attack has been sullied, but there's still some poisons in the trench coat for Jay Mims in the second half. We'll see if the visitors can hold fast for another 45 minutes, but Marius Lomas breaks that unlucky 13. Finds it in the first half, and that is the difference in this match thus far. A fortunate bounce off the back of Knudsen, finds the feet of the striker, and just like that, the reigning champs are up 1-0 over the current top of the table Union Omaha. Greenville looking for their first ever win against Union Omaha. Halftime show coming up next on ESPN+. We've got highlights and more coming your way, so do not step away from your screen.
At Nebraska Medicine, we're serious about safety. Every extraordinary measure we take is for you and you, so you can get the expert care you need today at every one of our locations. Together, we're elevating our world-leading safety protocols, implementing new social distancing guidelines, and offering care anywhere with telehealth. All so you can continue being your extraordinary you.
And welcome back to Papillion, Nebraska, but we're not going to stay here for very long because we have some catching up to do here in Week 27's action. Week 27, how far we've come this year, all the way to October. Starting on Wednesday, the rescheduled matchup between the Richmond Kickers and Forward Madison. Things got started off early here, and the man who has just been scoring goal after goal, Emiliano Terzaghi, padding his lead on the Golden Boot race, gets the goal in just the 8th minute of action. For Madison, they've struggled throughout the game, had some moments where they could score, but never challenged Akira Fitzgerald on target. Another 1-0 win, the third in a row for the Kickers. They are on a great streak and are now in a good playoff spot. Also on Wednesday, of course, the Owls played a 4-1 victory over Fort Lauderdale. It was the first time this entire season that Union Omaha went down a goal, but were able to come back and win the game. You see here the goal from Hundal. Excellent form, excellent breakaway. It's just what you expect from Fort Lauderdale at this point, the assist from Mitchell Curry. A couple moments later, though, the hot foot, as it were, Evan Conway is able to put this game level at 1 apiece. The response was huge from the Owls in this game. Jay Mims talked about how he didn't really have to give them a pep talk at halftime because by the time the halftime whistle rung, they were already in the lead once again. And you can see here, Greg Hurst breaking that dry spell that he had had for quite a long time. He'd been sitting at the goal total he'd been at for quite a while, and then he gets a brace in this game, no longer at that sticky 9-goal piece spot that he was at for a lot of this year. And then it kicked right back off in the second half. Guns blazing. This Omaha team, these past 2 games, have just been in a league of their own, and Devin Boyce getting in on the goal-scoring glory. He's been all over the place this season, especially now that Evan Conway has freed space open for him. He can just be the inventive player he is. And this is a stereotypical Greg Hurst goal. If you've seen it once, you've seen it a million times. Greg Hurst on the break, easy pickings for him. He just has that clinical touch. When there's a lot of space around him, he knows what to do with that ball. So a 4-1 victory for Union Omaha against Fort Lauderdale really puts the Herons in a bad spot. They haven't won a lot of games. They've already played more games than most teams. As we go up north to the border between New England Revolution 2 and Toronto FC 2. This was a game that New England had the better hand of in a lot of cases. You see here the shot from Noel Buck. Held possession for a lot of the game. They couldn't find the back of the net, though. And then on the flip side, a fantastic goal to give Toronto the lead in the first half. Kevin Pullitz, a guy from the back line, back from injury, is able to nod one in, get his first of the season. Luca Petrasa with a fantastic cross, puts it away. Great development on that part for Toronto, staying alive in the race. Now, we've got you some freshly baked highlights here. If you like volleyball, just check this out. Jorge Luna, he puts this one away, talking about center back scoring goals. He's able to get one on the goal sheet for him this season. Ping, ping. That one tied the game in second half to make it 2 apiece. And then a game winner moments later, Ortiz crosses it to, is that Jonathan Esparza? No, not quite. It is Marky Hernandez wearing Esparza's jersey after some equipment issues. Needless to say, he's still the finisher he is. We're going to go to a break now. When we come back, we'll have news and notes for you right here on ESPN+.
Boys and Girls Club of the Midlands has been a force for good in kids' lives for more than 58 years. We find ourselves in one of the greatest challenges we've ever faced, but we are committed to doing whatever it takes to keep our kids on the right path. It is vital we support our members and their families to get them through this challenging time. And when we emerge from this crisis, we will be standing shoulder to shoulder with our kids to help tackle the next challenge, because standing with kids is what we have always done, and we will continue to do.
Today, as you step onto the field, you step into your purpose. You step strong. You step hard. Con toda la fuerza de mujer. You step up.
Hey, y'all. Can we change up the chores?
Sorry. It's up to the wheel, man.
Oh, yeah?
Hey! Change the channel back.
Sorry, it's up to the wheel.
I am a first-generation student here at Bellevue University. I feel like if I were to have gone to a different university, my experience would have been a lot more stressful and overwhelming, because I feel like I wouldn't have gotten that personal experience that Bellevue University has to offer.
Around it comes Fox. Solignat, the back heel in! What a goal!
Luna is shot into the back goal. Kiramoto has won it for OKC Energy FC. Oh, that is a brilliant goal from the substitute.
Today, as you step onto the field, you step into your purpose. You step strong. You step hard. Con toda la fuerza de mujer. You step up.
Well, the big news this week, first off, USL League One welcomes Lexington, Kentucky into the League One party. Bluegrass meets the beautiful game. It's going to be a lot of fun. More teams is always a great thing for this league. Something else that's great for this league is the including of John Perlman securing his coaching spot this season and next year after turning around the FC Tucson story this season. 11th place. They are back in the playoff race, got as high as 3rd place this season since then. He has just turned things around. And of course, we've talked about Evan Conway. Hasn't made his appearance yet here today, but player of the week. And here's the team of the week presented by Clear Audio. See a couple familiar faces there. Abdi Muhammad for Greenville, and then the trio of Boyce, Otieno, and Conway from their 4-0 thrashing of Tormenta last weekend. We updated the goals leaderboard here for you. Hurst not able to score today, but scored on Wednesday twice. Lomas back in 2nd place, or still in 2nd place, but 2 goals behind Emiliano Terzaghi. Going to be a little bit harder for Hurst to pass him tonight. And then we haven't updated this for you, of course. We'll wait until later. It's the assist leaders. Ricky Ruiz. Actually, I'm hearing that it was updated. 9th assist today for Ricky Ruiz, who is nearing double-digit assisting. And then Boyce had 4 assists just in this past week. So he's just rocketed up the race. And then now Trilk's been updated for his matchup earlier today, but Nuhu, this is his stat line before this game, obviously. Still got more action to go here tonight, so no point in updating it until all is said and done. And now let's take a look at some of the scores around the league. We saw the highlights, and now you get a chance to look at them again, contextualize it. Lots of stuff going on here in League One, and more action to come this week in Week 27. Huge game between North Texas and Richmond. Let's take you all the way back to Week 14 on July 3rd, when the Richmond Kickers pulled off a huge comeback, conceded 2 goals in the first half, down 2-1 at halftime, and then we're able to score twice in the second half and win 3-2. North Texas will look to get some payback at home against the Richmond Kickers at Choctaw Stadium. Beautiful goal from Almaguer. It's going to be a lot of fun tomorrow. You're going to want to tune in and watch that. Outside of that, here are a couple of games. We're going to go to a break when we got back the second half on ESPN+. And welcome back to Papillion. 1-0 in favor of the visitors, looking for their first ever win against Union Omaha. Let's take a look at what happened those first 45 minutes. In case you're just tuning in, here's a chance to catch up on the action from what happened in the first half. And we're going to kick you off with the difference in this matchup. Mario Slomis able to find a goal. He had been off the goal score sheet for quite a while, but this one fell to his feet. And a striker knows how to put that one away. And you could see the excitement on his face. Not only maybe some relief, but also just the enthusiasm for how big this game is. And they kept knocking on the door. Another opportunity here for Greenville. There have been a couple of deflections off of shins, off of backs, off of heads for Omaha's back line. Uncharacteristic from them. Greenville have got him in a frenzy. And here's another example of that. Evan Lee could have made it too. So we take a look at the stat sheet. It's not really been a game where Greenville's held possession a lot, but it's something you kind of would expect. Omaha, they can't break down that block as effectively as they can counterattack. Greenville know it. They'll let Omaha have the ball as much as they want. Greenville's not going to let them get the ball when they've got bodies down the field. They're challenging them. You got to take us on when every guy is between the ball and the goal. And there's the crucial change that we knew was coming. Evan Conway coming in for Nicholas Firmino. And Greg Hurst coming in for Austin Pancho. You knew it was coming, and they're not going to waste any time on the Omaha bench. Jay Mims not messing around. And then on the other side, Lachlan McLean. He's finally been getting healthy, and he'll play this next 45 minutes of action as he gets himself ready. Adjustments from both sides, the obvious ones. I'm sure John Harkes could have read that. Meanwhile, McLean, we'll see how he impacts the way this game rocks. Jesus Ibarra is going to come out of the game in favor of McLean, the Australian. And here we go, 45 more minutes. Can Greenville withstand this Omaha attack for another 45 minutes, or do the Owls have a response in mind? Well, 6 goals in the past week have just walked onto the pitch. 4 from Conway, 2 from Hurst in the past 2 affairs. And that is a huge adjustment and a huge tucky point in the storyline for tonight. Greg Hurst and Evan Conway. Hurst able to get a brace on Wednesday after he endured a bit of a dry spell himself at scoring goals, much like Marius Lomas. A lot of the top of the table in goal scoring were all stuck for a little bit, sans Emiliano Terzaghi. There's Gavilanes. Hands being thrown, and that's enough to warrant a foul on Gavilanes. Team not used to being behind. They're going to try to level things up here. I'm sure want to look to stamp their imprint on this game early in the second half. Now, here is an insane stat for you. Through 23 games this season, so coming into today, Omaha have only trailed for 213 minutes. That is absurd. 90 minutes for every 23 games. Only 213 of those minutes, and I'm not going to multiply 90 by 23 off the top of my head, but that's less than 10 minutes a game, which is just absurd. And to put some context to that number, Chattanooga are in second place in minutes trailed with 445, so twice as many minutes they've been behind the Red Wolves in second place. So Omaha do not play from behind often, so new territory here for them. Here's Boyce's corner. And the first person to get to that one was Andrew Booth. Viadair tries to curl that one in for Conway. A little bit of tangling between Fricke and JP Skiers. That's not the first time that's happened today. Fricke and Skiers, but getting into it. And a battle between that center back and central midfielder, JP Skiers. Now Paul Christensen will have to deal with the Parliament behind him. All in good fun. I'll throw some jeers at the keeper, as is tradition for the home side. There's Max Hemmings. Obviously, you'll highlight the back four for Greenville so far for keeping that goose egg on the scoreboard for Greenville, but the influence of Hemmings and that midfield cannot be overstated in how well they've played and subdued that midfield for Omaha, made it very hard for the top of the formation to get involved. In this case, that ball will slide into the arms of Rashid Nuhu. There. Tough passing for Union Omaha. They're able to keep possession though. And they're gonna have to look to find some more bouts of possession in this offensive half, something with more promise. They've got their goal scorers though at the top of the formation now, including Greg Hurst, who was able to get a brace on Wednesday, as aforementioned. And talking to Jay Mims about how he's feeling after scoring those 2 goals, after a bit of a hiatus from the goal-scoring department. And he said that the last thing he did with Greg Hurst before talking to us was working on his putting game in the locker room. So Greg is back to being Greg. He's feeling good. Looking for him there. Couldn't connect. He said, it can eat a striker to not get goals, but I've always told him to not worry about the things you can control. That being said, he's happy for him to get back on track and scoring some goals. And they're going to need it from him today. May not be able to score it in his usual fashion. A natural at scoring on the break. the space is in front of him. First, his eyes grow wide. He knows how to put it away. Here's Booth. Nice little ball to McLean. So this is going to be a corner kick for Greenville. Gavilanes will make his way across the pitch. Shorter walk than normal here at Warner Park.
Right, close it up, second ball. Hey, it's gotta be a strike over the frame.
Here's his ball. It's headed upward by Skeers. Could still be brought down. It's put away for now, but cautious possession. A little bit precarious there for Greenville. Got Hurst breathing down your neck. Here come Omaha. They're going to sprint. Head full of steam. There's Devin Boyce. Doyle with some acreage. He's got OTN to his left, or to his right, but he goes to his left. Conway gives it back to Villader. Villader could shoot from here. The deflection falls into the arms of Paul Christensen. That's a soft spot for Damian Villader. And Paul Christensen, though, despite the deflections, able to handle it. I'll take a look at that one again. Conway just plays it back. A little back and forth between the two of them. We got a lot of pace on that ball from Conway. If you're a little lighter, Villader could have taken that with one touch. Muhammad switches it over to Gavilanes. One-on-one with Freddie Sosa. This is one of those moments that Greenville could take advantage of. It was a nifty idea from Hemmings, but it was well read by Sosa. Right, here comes Skeers. Some room in front of him. He'll give it to Hurst. And his ball played ahead. Just too much room in front of it, and it'll be a goal kick for Greenville. USL's elite pre-professional platform, USL Academy, allows clubs to build a pathway to pro soccer by bringing together top local youth talent and helping players transition to their USL senior teams. For more information, visit usl-academy.com. The drum's still ringing away here at Warner Park. Looking to galvanize the Owls, give them the encouragement they need. Well, that was close to a run to Booth. The game is opening up a little bit, and that works in the favor of Omaha. Here's Conway. Evan Conway can shoot from space. Conway still going, and it's over the crossbar. He puts his hands on his face. He would have wanted to put that on frame. And he had room to run. That's the last thing you want if you're Greenville. Evan Conway just going. Nearly took it from midfield all the way inside the 18. Dangerous striker, Evan Conway. And he's been clinical as of late. There he is, 23-year-old from Whitefish Bay, Wisconsin. Got 45 minutes of break, and now he's back and at it. Hurt for a lot of this season, and that break also spelled a lot of low-scoring matches for Omaha. And his return has freed things up for Hurst, for Boyce. I think Boyce in particular has benefited greatly from Conway's return. Let him be more the player he wants to be. Industrious was the word that John Harkes used to describe Devin Boyce. I think that's an apt way to put it. Oh, nifty little back heel. Doyle to Conway. He turns. He fires. Conway shot. Oh, my word. That was close. That would have been fantastic. Nearly a 360 spin from Conway. Spin and shoot. That would have been another level. You can see the fire and the attitude of this Omaha team starting to come back to them. They looked a little stale in the first half, and especially subdued after they went down a goal, but the spicy play of Evan Conway has shaken things up once again. We're in for a good second half here. Booth lets that one bounce off the player. And a Greenville throw. Obviously, as we talked about a lot in the first half, and it's definitely worth acknowledging, Warner Park is not as wide as any of the other pitches in the league. I don't think we got a player down. Tyler Pollock, indeed it is. It's a key player for this Greenville side. Pollock, no one has played more League One minutes than that man right there. Also leads the team, of course, this season in minutes, but that's what you would come to expect from the guy. Just a consistent player, consistent presence. Coming from Lincoln, Nebraska, so a little bit closer to home than usual, Tyler Pollock, so I hope he can get better and continue to play. And he's back up on his feet. Can't watch the match? Turn on SiriusXM FC 157, North America's only 24/7 source of soccer radio, featuring Ray Hudson, Tony Miola, Rodney Marsh, and USL All Access with Mike Watson, Devin Kerr every Tuesday night at 7 Eastern. You can also hear live action from the USL, MLS, Premier League, and more, all on SiriusXM FC 157 in the SiriusXM app. Back up on his feet, Pollock. The Nebraska native, back in his home state, playing against the Nebraska team. End of the middle, Booth just too far out to retrieve that ball. Had a moment of worry there for Christensen, but I think he made the wise move to just back up and pick it up with his hands. The ball had an odd little bounce on it. And we've seen goalkeeper errors recently. Greenville capitalized one just a couple weeks ago against Ford Madison. Lachlan McLean coming back and scoring a goal off of that error from Phil Brino. They're not looking to create one themselves. But Warner Park, of course, not ideal for the Greenville Triumph in the way they like to play. John Hart said, we like to use the width of the pitch. It's so narrow at Omaha, but he took the chance to discuss it with a lot of the coaches around the league. He mentioned Darren Powell of Fort Lauderdale and Eric Quill of North Texas. John Hart loves to communicate with the other coaches, develop that little bit of network. He said that it's not conducive to lots of play, but there are advantages to everything. And we have produced on baseball fields in Lansing, so you just have to be flexible. Of course, we heard the words from Brandon Fricke, former Lansing Ignite player. One of the many players used to pitches like this. And he's been an active participant tonight, Fricke. In particular, a couple of bouts with J.P. Skierce inside the 18. See the flag waving, the drums. The Omaha faithful trying to make something happen for the home side. A lot more energy from their team here in this second half. And that starts with Evan Conway. And it looks like we got a handball there from Otieno. Gives the ball right back to Greenville. Evan Conway has come in and has certainly made an impact. And one thing he does, obviously, is to apply all that pressure throughout the game, even when he's off the ball. We've seen a little bit already here in the second half. Jay Mims talked about Conway's pressing ability, and he said that that's just our positional profile. He said it's a non-negotiable trait our strikers must have. He said we won't take forwards who don't apply pressure, which means there's some valuable guys on the market, maybe some guys on other teams that we didn't take because they don't have that attribute. He said he appreciates that, or he says that Evan Conway appreciates that part of the game and that pressure, and he says that it's been in his game for a while. Mims doesn't take that attribute for granted. As Conway goes to the ground. A little bit of an unfortunate collision. Not sure if that was the ball off his head or if that was Brandon Fricke. Looks like he's all right. May have to get checked for that. Oh. Yeah. That's what you got to do when the head is involved. You got to get checked. Concussion protocol, take it very seriously in this sport. And so I'm sure he'll get all the T's dotted and then he'll come back into the game. So 30 more minutes to go. Marius Lomas still the difference. Hurst was able to score on Wednesday and end his drought. And Lomas able to do it today. So maybe that golden boot race here at the end of the season going to heat up again. Everyone's got to catch up to the ever magical Emiliano Terzaghi. Here's Sosa. He opts to take it himself. Not too much threat to that one. Talking about that pressure that those forwards have to apply if you're going to play for Union Omaha. Mim said he doesn't take it for granted when his players do it, but they do expect it. And he mentioned that Greg Hurst came here because he wanted to be held accountable for stuff like that. It's just part of the Union Omaha format. That'll be a foul drawn by JP Skiers. Been on the ground a lot today, for better or for worse. Having to pump the brakes there, but he'll get the ball right back via Dare. And that one goes off the foot of Max Hemmings. And that'll go out for a corner kick. Damia via Dare will tap it over to Devin Boyce. Here's a chance for Omaha, set piece. We get a good ball from Devin Boyce here. I've got Conway and Hurst inside. Hurst hasn't been able to score off his forehead before. This one comes inside, punched away. It's still on the ground. That collision's going to warrant a whistle from our head official, Greg Dopka. And once again, got players on the grass, and this time Evan Lee, slow to get up, clutching his chest and stomach. May have just taken one straight to the gut. Evan Lee, 27 years old from Toledo, Ohio. He's been playing some good soccer recently. That's interesting. Didn't look like contact was made with his stomach, but perhaps I just couldn't see it from this angle. Join USL in celebrating Hispanic Heritage Month through October 15th. Visit uslsoccer.com/Hispanic-heritage for exclusive content and stories that celebrate members of the Hispanic community that have helped shape the USL. Now this has been restarted.
23.
I mentioned the impacts of guys like Alan Gavilanes and Jesus Ibarra. These are guys who were not in that starting lineup in many facets throughout this season, but have had the chance to grow and perform. Unfortunately, due to the injuries of their teammates, and although unfortunate at the time, it can be rough, it's proven beneficial now. Here's Omaha, though, on the attack. Damia via Dare. One-on-one with Muhammad, and he'll play it back. This ball swinging in from Connor Doyle. It's knotted away. And as I speak of Gavilanes, it looks like he's going to get subbed out here in a moment for Alex Morel. I'll wait to confirm that with the substitution, but you can see Morel there waiting. Conway Well, back heel to Fricke Sosa. He's going to get knocked down, drawing the free kick for the Owls. And it looks like the substitution is going to happen here, which is a little bit odd. A free kick for Union Omaha, and the substitution is going to be allowed. Gabriel Nunez will make his way off the pitch, as we predicted, and it'll be Alex Morel coming on. Strange occurrence, but here we are. And a free kick for Devin Boyce, though, nonetheless. We'll wait for the whistle from Greg Dopko. Devin Boyce stutter steps and then sends this one inside. Knutson can't connect with it. Got close, though. And here's Morel. Light on his feet. That'll be a Union Omaha throw in here. Actually, it's going to be a Greenville throw. This is a Greenville team that's experienced a lot of growth this season from those players who got the chance to play, given the injuries to the starters on the team. And John Hark said that these players, we've watched them gain responsibility and some intensity. I mentioned there's just more progress when you get to play than from watching the film of other players. It's just that practical side of things that you can't learn anything better than when you do it yourself and make the mistakes and figure out what you did wrong. I think that rings true in just about anything, any process, any skill set, talent in this world. So although it was a detriment then, it could be a benefit now. Have a much deeper bench at their disposal. And on the Omaha side of things, they've been thinking about their bench and that Fort Lauderdale win, and you saw it here in the first half, trying to save some legs. Jay Mims said that it wasn't until that fourth goal that we really started thinking about this Greenville game. A 2-goal lead isn't safe enough, but then after that last one, I started considering getting some guys on the bench, getting them rested, giving some other guys reps, considering some yellow card suspensions that could be potentially happening should a player get in trouble in the rest of that game. He mentioned we're not going to be naive about it. And so that was his moment of practicing our key to the game of street smarts, just knowing when was the moment to let your players rest. Here's Morel, showing some shiftiness. Can't connect with his forwards there. That's going to be a foul from Polak, just barreling in behind Otieno, and that looks like it's going to get him in the books. Actually, it looks like it's going to go to Andrew Booth. Maybe some dissent there. And Booth will collect his 8th yellow card of the season. That's going to be his 8th of the year, which by yellow card policies in the League One, he's going to have to miss the next game against New England. I'll be without one of their midfielders, Greenville, come next week when they're at home to host Revs 2. Andrew Booth coming from Tamarack, Florida. Playing a little slow to get to his feet. Back there for a moment. We got 30 more seconds before we reach the 70-minute mark. And before you know it, that clock is going to start ticking in the heads of the Owls here. Technically have a loss this season at home, but it wasn't here at Werner Park. So this would be the first time they would have lost at this venue this entire season. is would only be their third ever loss at Werner Park. They were shut out in both of those matches. Only one other shutout here, a 0-0 draw for Omaha, so they score here, and they score here often. So a rarity tonight. That's exactly the kind of result the Triumph are looking for. They scored early and are able to just let Omaha play with the ball. This ball will be headed back to Newhill. 20 minutes left. In these close games, Greenville have been very good. They've been able to put a lot of these away, including their last fixture. Won 1-0 at the death of the game off of an own goal. Now it's against Forum. In games where the margin was just 1 goal, Greenville, are 6-1. So just 1 loss. Which is best across the league. Fewest losses by 1 goal in the league for Greenville. When the score is 4-0, they are 4-0. Or sorry, 1-0, I'll correct me there. They're 4-0 when they play a 1-0 game. Got myself jumbled up with the numbers. You got the point. That's a yellow card, the first one for Omaha. Connor Doyle getting his 5th yellow of the season. So to keep things clear, in 1-0 games, Greenville is 4-0. The only team with a spotless record with that scoreline. I think that's fitting. This is a team that loves their defensive structure. So if they could score a goal and hold the other team down, they'll do it. And I don't know if Omaha could complain about it. They're a team that has won a lot of low-scoring affairs this season. And in a way, it's similar to how they've won many games here. Just the production of the goal that's a little bit different. Before this Greenville team that have had so much success in these close matchups, there are 2 things that it takes, according to John Harkes, to be this efficient in these affairs. He said that winning close games takes discipline without the ball and then creativity and imagination with it. His teammates, or his team, knows that. He said that it's resulted in positive results in those close games. Short and to the point. Discipline without the ball. Creativity when you've got it. And that one's flicked forward, but the flag will go up. Indignant from the Owls, but Greg Hurst, maybe one of the less angry players, just maybe got the timing off. The assistant official caught him in the act of slipping behind the back line and trying to pluck away an equalizer. Greg Hurst, 11 goals on the season. A lot of them in breakaway moments. Let's take a look at that one. From that angle, it definitely looks like he's off. It's a nice idea from Boyce. He loves doing that little chip into the 18. Another substitution here, Amir Alihadzic. He's going to come in for JP Skiers. What I would guess is going to be worse for wear. He has been in some physical altercations today. Lots of collisions, taken to the ground a lot. Whether it was his fault or another's, doesn't really matter when talking about fitness. He may need some ice packs after this one. Not sure what Otieno was thinking there. Execution wasn't what he was looking for, though. Maybe trying to thread a fairly tight inventive ball to Greg Hurst. That's what they need. 15 minutes to go plus added time. 12th minute, Marius Lomas scored what is the only goal in this game thus far, and they have bunkered down and held fast for the rest of the match, and they do it for the last 15. Looked good for Omaha out the gates in the second half, but since then, things have locked up once again. We'll take a look. If this is how the result stands, this would mean Greenville would be within 5 of Chattanooga, and Chattanooga maybe could still be thinking about that #1 seed. Despite this fallen form they've had, they did win earlier today. However ugly you want to call it. That one looking for Hurst. Emphatically put away, though, on Greenville's part. Drums getting a little bit more furious from the Parliament. Otieno, he sends this one inside, looking for Villader. Not the biggest body, but a creative one nonetheless. This one found Hurst inside the 18. It's cleared away by Evan Lee. It'll be another throw-in for Omaha. Pressing in once again. Starting to feel that pressure, and so they're turning up another notch. Getting a little more reckless with it. You have to, though, at this point. Coming in is Aaron Walker. Furious pressing from Otieno. Fair play from the referee, and now see what the referee calls it. It's going to be a foul on Otieno. He'll get the yellow card. Toby Otieno, 5th of the season, coming off a Team of the Week award. A Kenyan, he in the books, and he's been frantic today, trying to make a difference in the middle of the field, and this time just a little bit too excited. Christensen will launch this one into the attacking third for Greenville. Conway, ball fortuitously falls to his feet. Ali Hodzic is out wide. He gets it. Amir Ali Hodzic sends this one inside, looking for Hurst. Headed away by Muhammad. The volley goes back in. Villader was the one on that one. The Owls creating some danger once again. Sosa able to whip by Lomas, gets by Booth. Plays it out wide to Ali Hodzic. Can he catch up to it? He does. And then it's knocked out for a corner. Earning some applause from the faithful here. Some good work from Sosa. And then Ali Hodzic does what he can to win a corner kick. Damien Villader with the swinger. Conway connects on it. Conway hacking at it. Can't put a heated pass or a heated shot on target. Paul Christensen is able to fall on top of it. I'll take a look one more time. Yeah, I just couldn't connect on it enough. Couldn't put the laces through it. Now Villader moving forward. He's got Conway, finds him. Tight space for Evan Conway. And he can't get himself through the traffic of Greenville. Picking up more and more for the Owls. Trying to keep their spotless record at home, at least at Werner Park. Got a late challenge from Sosa, and he knows. talking to from our head official, Greg Dopka. Kind of shocked that it doesn't get a yellow there for Reddy Sosa. Just a late challenge from him. Ten minutes to go. And then however much time our fourth official decides to put on. McLean can't corral that one. Get a quick whistle here on the goal kick. It'll be a Greenville sub. Looks like Jacob Goodall's going to come into the game for Lomas, the goal scorer. Lomas able to get the monkey off his back. And there he is. Goal number 13 for Lomas this season. And here it is once again. Jesus Ibarra with the cross. Boost header. Bounces with some good luck from Dalton Knutsen's back, and sometimes you just need a bat of luck to make it happen. And if there was any point for Lomas to turn things back on this season, I'm sure Greenville would pick now. Christensen on that one. Long ball forward from Omaha. See Pollock there? Mentioned already. Lincoln, Nebraska native. From one keeper to the other, practically. At this point, Greenville have no interest in holding the ball. And it's a bit of a dare to the Owls. Challenging them to beat their block, beat their defensive structure, and level this game on their terms. That's where they need to be careful here, is when they have the ball. Don't want to carelessly give it away. They're feeling that pressure. Hurst wins it back for Omaha. Here's Viadair. This is when they could break down that structure a little bit. They recover this time, and that'll be a foul on Osumanu. He is aghast at the call. Slow to get up is Lachlan McLean. Crunching tackle from Ilal Alsumanu. Looks like Christian Molina getting himself warmed up at midfield. Morel, one-on-one with Knutsen. Mohamed's ball, high arcing, and just way too much on it. Looks like we're going to get a card brandished. I'd like to see what Greg Dopka goes towards to address. All right, just allowing for the substitution, Molina. You see there, mentioned earlier, his sister couldn't make it, but an early birthday for Tyler Pollock. Maybe one of the few chances his family could come out and see a game for him, so I imagine a special night for him. His sister Haley couldn't make it to the day, or make it today, but a happy early birthday to Tyler Pollock. Or to his sister, pardon me. I'm sure he loves to have some relatives here to watch the matchup. And he's put in a great performance tonight. He's been on Viadair. And for Reddy Sosa, those two. Ever Wiley. Hemmings takes a tumble there. Knutsen came out of the game for Molina. So that's a defender for a midfielder, so unless Molina's adjusting to playing on the back line or someone else took that spot and shifted him forward, I think that goes to tell you that Omaha getting a little more aggressive here, trying to find more presence in the middle of the field. Feed Hurst, feed Conway, feed Hurst, feed Conway. That's going to be the goal for the rest of this match. Viadere also could be in that discussion. Get the ball at the feet of your playmakers. I talked about how when your forwards score, everyone else can worry about their jobs. So now you got to look to your forwards to do their part. You got 5 minutes and change to do so. For the Triumph, they look to be disciplined for just a hair longer. Sosa sending a long ball in. Was looking for Ali Hodzic. Not a bad thought, but just a little bit too much length on it. Paul Christensen read the ball, got forward for it. Desperate times call for desperate measures. And Union Omaha looking down the barrel of a first loss at Warner Park this season and just their third in program history. This League One season's gone. A loss here for the Owls makes everything oh so interesting for the rest of the league. As we saw the table earlier, Chattanooga still in the race for that #1 seed. Greenville also put themselves in the conversation for a bye. So it's excitement both for playoff spots, but also byes here. This one couldn't quite make its way to Conway, and it's going to be a free kick and a yellow card. Once Max Hemmings helps the victim up to his feet, he will go into the books, and it'll be his 8th yellow of the season. So some unfortunate players getting yellow cards tonight for the Triumph. Connor Doyle, the one who got bucked out of the play by Hemmings. He'll take this free kick chance. 2+ minutes left to go. Devin Boyce has had a couple of set piece chances tonight. He's looking for the perfect ball here. Lots of players forward. And here he comes. A low ball in, scatters around. They wait for a handball. The fans say the same thing. Nothing from the official, but they will get a corner kick. That was a low ball. Would have been hard for that to hit the hand of a player, but it seemed like lots of people saw it. And that one just behind Connor Doyle. Missed opportunity, and there's not many left. Second ball on the pitch. Conway quickly disposes of it. Doyle plays to Boyce, finds his way to Conway. Conway tries to take the shot himself. It sputtered for a moment before cleared away. We reach 90 minutes here in a moment. Wonderful to see Nuhu make his way forward. It's not like they have to worry about goal differential. They're so far ahead in that department. Still gonna wait a little longer before the keeper makes his way forward, but I would anticipate that happening. Viadere nearly threads the pass to Boyce. Nuhu will play it out to Sosa. That's a lot of time on the added time clock. 5 more minutes. Otieno tries to play it to Ferretti Sosa. Can't do so. Greenville will look to play this one into a corner. Here's Booth going forward. Maybe he'll be thinking a goal here. He takes the shot, and that one lasers wide. Maybe thinking later, should I have just camped with that one? Things are a little bit stretched now for Greenville. They'll quickly track back, though. Here's Ali Hodzic. Swings the ball in, looking for Hurst. Now Doyle. The barrage continues. Can they break it down last moment? Conway tumbles. Nothing there, says our head official, Greg Dopka. Otieno takes a step, plays it inside, earns himself a throw-in. Tension getting higher and higher here at Werner Park. It looks like that one went out of play. Or maybe it was a handball. I'll take a look at the no call here on Conway. Maybe there was a hand there, but nothing there conclusive from my point of view. Of course, the Parliament will beg to differ. A momentous night indeed this could end up being, should the results stand. No one's been able to break this Werner Park fortress. Greenville looking to be the first and also earn their first ever win against Union Omaha, which would level the series at 1-1-1. This is the last time these two teams play in the regular season. Don't want to get ahead of myself, but potentially not the last time we see these two sides on the same pitch this year. I know, from my perspective as an avid observer of the USL League One, would be a fixture worth revisiting.
This is the player 2 team. Number 4.
I won't open my entire bag of secrets, but there are a couple of matchups that would be great television between some of these sides in the league, and Omaha and Greenville would be one of them. Two more minutes, and then whatever else the referee decides. Boyce plays it to Molina, making his way forward. Otieno swings the ball, deflection flies up into the air. It coughs out of the hands, it's sputtered around. Not sure if that's gonna be a corner, a throw-in, a goal kick. It's gonna be a corner kick. Tick, tick, tick. Just over a minute to go. Ali Hodzic behind this ball. Here it comes, and that one is caught. Paul Christensen flies towards it, and he'll hold on to it as long as he can. Here's the previous opportunity. Nervy moments, nervy moments. Morrell able to keep this one in play, and he'll sit tight. Maybe he'll square into the middle, and instead he just puts it away. Definitely gets checked there. Ref says it's clean. "30 more seconds. That should be around the time I would think Nuhu may play this forward and then take up the pitch himself. There's the whistle from the official. Blasted away by Hemmings. They're looking to see this one out. Maybe one last chance for Omaha here. Connor Doyle plays this one forward via Dare to Ali Hodzic. Don't know if they have the time to keep playing this ball to the back here. Sosa threads it forward. Here's Conway. Conway tries to get to Molina. It's still alive for Omaha. Here's Conway. Plays it into the middle. It goes over the head of Christensen. Blasted away. Muhammad headed it away. And that's it. After 95 minutes, the Greenville Triumph have done it for the first time in their program's history. And the first time this season, they've gone to Werner Park and gotten 3 points, a 1-0 victory courtesy of Marius Lomas. They scored early, they bunkered down, and they were able to hold fast for the 80-plus minutes that ensued. The unbeatable Fortress has been beaten. And John Harkes' crew go to 6 games straight unbeaten. And Omaha, who are red hot these past 2 games, 8 goals in 2 matches, shut out here today. 4 clean sheets this season for Paul Christensen, and this one may be the sweetest. If we take a look at Omaha here, first loss at Werner Park this year. Huge moment and a sign of promise for everyone across the league. It can be done. And there's Christensen there. 4th clean sheet of the season. That's the backup keeper, by the way. You wouldn't guess it. First keeper to get a clean sheet this season here at Werner Park. We'll have highlights and stats up next here after this break. Post-game thoughts coming up next on ESPN+. A crazy ending to this game, but Greenville hold on and win 1-0 over Union Omaha. First win for the visitors at Werner Park this season, and the first win against Omaha in program history for Greenville Triumph. Huge result in the grand scheme of things. Omaha could have punched their way into the playoffs tonight with a victory. They could still clinch one this weekend with a victory for Richmond yesterday. Or a draw, actually, but there's your standings as it looks now. Greenville maybe thinking a bye now, and Chattanooga thinking opposite and looking at that #1 spot. It's within maybe those 2 of the most valuable players tonight, Marius Lomas and Paul Christensen. A clean sheet for one and a much-needed goal for the other. Unlucky 13 from Marius Lomas was finally acquired today. And now let's take a look at how this game transpired. What a match this was. You knew coming in that if any team was going to try and figure out how to beat Omaha here, Greenville may just be the one. Maybe a stroke of luck was needed, but it's a beautiful game, and that's just how it goes. Jesus Ibarra, he needed to make plays today. Found a good ball here, and Lomas off the deflection, puts it away. Excellent work from him. And in the second half, lots of promise from Omaha early. Evan Conway got onto the pitch and nearly had an amazing goal here. Actually, it won't be this one. It's the shot from Viadair, but the point still stands. Evan Conway came in and had an impact. Then he made a tear down the middle of the pitch and had his go. Couldn't quite put it away. And as the game went on, started to figure him out. Just a minute later, once again, and this is the one I was talking about, Evan Conway, nearly a full 360. Whew. Margins off. Evan Conway looking to make things happen for Greenville. And then, last moment of the game, after hearing from our camera crew, this ball would have gone in from Conway. Abdi Mohammed with potentially the play of the match. I'll say it, this is the play of the match. Saving 3 points, swinging in, and knocking that one after it went over the hands of Paul Christensen. Amazing moment there as we take a look at the full-time stats. 68% of possession. Greenville came in with the goal of scoring and then challenging Omaha to break them down. And Omaha had that opportunity and couldn't make it happen despite 13 shots, as we now take a look at the standings and what this does in the full grand scheme of things. Of course, those two at the top of the table. A couple of teams behind them that are trying to catch up with them, but a win for Greenville keeps New England Revolution and the Kickers at an arm's length. Those two teams still looking to get into that race for a bye. They play Revolution next weekend, Greenville. Meanwhile, Richmond play tomorrow against North Texas. A lot to be decided. Should North Texas not win on the match tomorrow, it would clinch the playoffs for Union Omaha as we take a look at the upcoming fixtures. Two big games, North Texas Richmond as we previewed at halftime, and then a crucial match for Fort Lauderdale and Tormenta. Neither of those teams can lose. They both need 3 points. So you're going to want to tune into League One action tomorrow at 7 and 7:30. And then, of course, midweek action as always. Lots of good stuff coming your way for Week 27 and Week 28. Well, that does it here from Werner Park. A big night in League One, a huge night for the Greenville Triumph. Marius Lomas with the goal, Abdi Mohammed with the last moment save for our broadcasting crew. My name is Mark Schoenster saying thank you for watching. Until next time in League One, be sure to tune in tomorrow for League One action on ESPN+.
This copyrighted telecast of the United Soccer League League One cannot be retransmitted, rebroadcast, or reproduced without the expressed written consent of the United Soccer League League One.